Namaste Bitia. Myself JVN Neha Saini from Physiotherapy and Diagnostics, Jyoti Vidyapeeth Women's University. Here I am going to tell you about the anatomy of the patella. So this is the patella. It is a sesamoid bone. It is located in front of the knee joint and also known as knee cap. Patella, the knee cap, it is located at the front of the knee joint within the patellofemoral groove which is lying on the femur. Its superior aspect is attached to the quadriceps tendon and inferior aspect is attached to the patellar ligament. So here we can see the superior aspect of the bone. Here lies the attachment of this quadriceps femoris muscle, and the inferior aspect we have this patellar ligament. It is classified as sesamoid bone and is largest sesamoid bone in the human body. Patella is seen in the tendon of quadriceps femoris muscle, as sesamoid bones are those bones which develop within the tendon of a muscle. So this bone is also developed within the tendon of quadriceps femoris muscle. It is situated in front of the knee joint, that is why it is known as knee cap. It is a flattened and triangular bone with all the base facing upward and the apex facing downwards. It has anterior aspect which is convex and rough. Posterior surface presents a large articular surface split into small medial part and large lateral part. So this is the patella, which superiorly it is related to the quadriceps femoris muscle. It is developing within the tendon of quadriceps femoris. Now the bony landmarks. The patella is triangular in shape. It has anterior and the posterior surfaces. The apex of the patella is situated inferiorly and is connected to the tibial tuberosity by the patellar ligament. So here we can see the patellar ligament. It is the apex of patella and it is the patellar ligament. Because of this, it is attached to the tibial tuberosity. Then the posterior surface of the patella articulates with the femur and is marked by two facets, the medial facet and the lateral facet. The medial facet articulates with the medial condyle of femur and the lateral facet articulates with the lateral condyle of the femur. Now the anatomical position and side determination of the patella. We have two patellas, so we have to determine the side also. So hold the patella in that position that its apex faces downwards and its base faces upwards. Its articular surface faces posteriorly and the large lateral part of the articular surface determines the side, because a large articular facet, which is the lateral part, lying on the lateral side. There is also a short trick for identification of its side, which is that keep the articular surface of the patella on the tabletop in this manner that its base is directed towards you and its apex is far from you. Now find the tilt of the patella. The patella usually constantly tilts towards the side it belongs to. So if it is tilt on the right side, it is of right sided bone, and if it is tilt on the left side, then it will be of left sided bone. So the features of the patella are the apex, three borders are there, superior, medial and lateral border, and two surfaces are there, anterior and the posterior surface. So here we can see the superior border. This is the superior border. It is also known as the base of patella. It gives connection to the rectus femoris muscle in the anterior part and vastus intermedius in the posterior part. So on the superior border we have attachments of two muscles, rectus femoris in the anterior part and the vastus intermedius in the posterior part. Then we come to the lateral border. So on the lateral side we have the lateral border, and this lateral border in its upper 1/3 gives attachment to vastus lateralis muscle. Vastus lateralis muscle is again a muscle of the front of thigh originating from the femur, and it's inserting only in the upper 1/3 part of the lateral border of the patella. So here we can see the insertion of vastus lateralis. This is the vastus lateralis inserting only in the upper 1/3 part of the lateral border of the patella. Then medial border, it gives connection to the vastus medialis in the upper 2/3 part, and the rest of the part is occupied with the medial patellar ligament in its lower 1/3. So here we can see on the medial border, the upper 2/3 part is occupied by the vastus medialis and the lower 1/3 part is occupied by the medial patellar retinaculum. Medial patellar retinaculum is nothing but the extension of the vastus medialis muscle. Similarly, on the lateral border, the lower two-third part is occupied by the lateral patellar retinaculum. Lateral patellar retinaculum is again the extension of the vastus lateralis muscle. The medial and the lateral patellar retinacula are the growths of the tendons of the vastus lateralis and the medialis respectively. And at the apex we can see the attachment of the ligamentum patelli is there. This is the ligamentum patelli, and on the posterior surface we have the two facets, the medial and the lateral articular facets. The lateral one is larger than the medial. So on the anterior surface it is rough, convex, it is longitudinally striated and presents numerous vascular foramina. It is subcutaneous, and subcutaneous prepatellar bursa is there between the patella and the skin. So here we can see the anterior aspect of the patella, which is having various vascular foramina and the longitudinal impressions. These are the vascular foramina, circular, and these are longitudinal impressions. Then the posterior surface. Its lower quarter is rough and non-articular, while its upper 3/4 is smooth and articular. Small non-articular part near its apex is split into two regions, the lower and the upper. The lower area gives connection to the ligamentum patelli, and the upper area is related to the infrapatellar pad of fat. So on the lower aspect of the apex we can see we have the attachment of ligamentum patelli, and the upper part we have the fat. Then on the posterior surface we have large articular area which is divided mainly by the vertical ridges into a bigger lateral and a small medial area to fit with the mutual articular surfaces of the femur, that is lateral facet articulates with the lateral condyle and medial facet articulates with the medial condyle of the femur. The vertical ridge itself takes up the groove on the patellar surface of the femur lower end in the position of expansion, and the large lateral articular area is in contact together with the lateral femoral condyle in all places of the knee. The small medial articular area is further split by another vertical ridge into large lateral part again and a narrow medial part, which is referred to as medial strip. This medial strip comes in contact with the undersurface of the medial femoral condyle during full flexion of the knee. So here we can see the divisions of the posterior surface. Here we can easily about to know that this is the large lateral part and the small medial part. This is again divided by a vertical ridge into this medial crest and the lateral part. This medial crest comes in contact with the femur during full flexion. Then making apart this medial strip, entire of the articular outermost layer of the patella is subdivided into upper, middle and lower regions by two faint horizontal lines, and the patellar surface of femur comes in contact with the upper area during full common flexion, and the middle area comes in contact with femur during semi-flexion, and the lower area comes in contact with femur during average extension, as we have seen in this diagram. These are demarcating the articulation of the femur with the patella during different movements of the knee. So this is the patella. Superiorly it is developing in the tendon of quadriceps femoris, and inferiorly we have the patellar tendon, which is attaching the patella towards the tibial tuberosity. So these are the anatomical features having the base, apex, lateral facet, medial facet on the posterior surface, and this is the patella, how it appears in the x-rays. In the x-ray we can see this is the patella, this is the lower condyles of the femur, and these are the condyles of tibia. Now what are the functions of patella? Patella has two main functions. It is helpful for leg extension. It enhances the leverage that the quadriceps tendon can exert on the femur, increasing the efficiency of the muscle. Protection, it protects the anterior aspect of the knee joint from the physical trauma. Then the dislocation of the patella. Patella has natural inclination to dislocate laterally because of the upward and lateral pull by the quadriceps. Nevertheless, it's countered by three variables: more forward projection of the lateral femoral condyle, this is the first. Second, more protracted insertion of the vastus medialis to the medial border of the patella than that of the vastus lateralis on the lateral border. And the third one is medial pull used by the medial patellar retinaculum. Because of these factors, patella is not dislocated on the lateral side. Then next is the fracture of the patella. There is a direct blow on the patella fracture into two or more bits. A sudden and strong contraction of quadriceps femoris can causes a transverse fracture of the patella. So there are the two causes for the fracture of the patella. The patella, being a sesamoid, is devoid of periosteum. Thus, when fractured, bony union does not takes place in the patella. So if it is fractured, it cannot be united again. Then the ossification. The patella ossifies from several ossification centers which appear during 3 to 6 years and fuse immediately to create an individual center. The ossification of patella is finished at the puberty. Now the clinical significance of the ossification is that abnormal ossification of the patella, abnormal centers in the patella may create 2 or 3 different sections of the patella, referred to as bipartite or tripartite patella. This state can be discerned from fracture of the patella as it's bilateral and the pieces have smooth margins. Now patellar dislocation. In the patellar dislocation, the patella bone is displaced out of the patellar femoral groove. It accounts for around 3% of the knee injuries. Most dislocation occur laterally and are caused by high force impact on the patella or forceful sudden twisting of the knee. These mechanisms of injury can patellar dislocation more common in individuals participating in the sports such as football, rugby and ice hockey. So patellar fracture, we have discussed about the mode of the trauma and how it can be distinguished from the bipartite or tripartite patella. Now the questions which are related to this topic are: write short note on attachments of patella. So in this we have to mention about the attachments, and next is the patellar fracture. Now this is the exercise for you. You have to draw this diagram. This is the anatomical features of the patella and label all the structures. And this is the second exercise. In this we have to give the attachments of the patella and also discuss about the facets on the posterior surface. So this completes your topic, the patella. Thank you.